Daily Slow Heat Urban Pet Brainstorming Shu Chang opened a pet shop on the variety show, China's Good Entrepreneurship, and the pets prepared by the program team for him were all regulars in the market. Fortunately, the system acted promptly. A local dog. This is a purebred Chinese national dog, and Su Shi's left leading yellow, right lifting song was memorized when he was in school, referring to it. It was recorded in the Qin Dynasty, a local cat. This is Li Nu, a famous cat that has been around for thousands of years since the Tang Dynasty. In the Song Dynasty, the process of buying Li Nu was similar to marrying a wife. If a high-ranking official lost Li Nu, they had to search the entire city. Cauliflower snake. This is the king's snake, with the word king on its head, so it is also called the king's snake. It can eat the 5-footed snake and the cobra, but as a legitimate king among snakes, the key is that it is non-toxic, so you can rest assured. Black chicken. This is the white phoenix, once named Wushan Chicken by Emperor Qianlong. Its feathers are silk-like, and it has a gentle personality. It is also white on the outside and black on the inside, which perfectly conforms to the Chinese yin-yang Tai Chi method. It is simply the best choice to give as a pet to elders. But the comfortable live broadcast is becoming increasingly strange. Did you, a pet seller, assist the police in catching a murderer? Okay, let's just consider it an accident. It's a bit hard to say that the cooking in your pet store is even better than that of a 5-star chef. What? You've practiced it before, that's good. So, you know martial arts, musical instruments, and massage techniques. What's wrong with sneaky movements? Gradually, everyone realized that besides selling pets, there seemed to be nothing that Shu Chang couldn't do. Chapter 1. Is it still possible for me to change the store name to the fresh produce area of the market now? You are listening at Novel Full.audio. Brain storage area, slow heat daily brain cave text. Your brain is already stored here, just spray it gently, otherwise your brain won't be taken away. Authentic warm tea, authentic entrepreneurship. Welcome to the No Treasure Warm Tea. China is Good for Entrepreneurship, titled by the leading brand of warm tea, No Treasure Warm Tea. China is Good for Entrepreneurship. Drinking Qi Li, adding energy, Zyga Qi Li is truly a health product, cheering for China's good entrepreneurship. In front of the camera, the host, Shuahua, note. Not the protagonist, is using his signature, rich woman happy tongue, to carry out a mouth-opening advertisement. Director Guo Kai, note. Not the protagonist, stared closely at the screen. This is a variety show, Good Entrepreneurship in China, that he spent a year to produce, which is benchmarking, Incense Every Day, Happy Big Stupid Bear, Rocket vs. Rocket, and Run, Brothers. Jointly launched by Nanha TV and Xiaopa Station, we invited 100 grandma owners from Xiaopa Station to open a store on Dehua Street, a newly built commercial street in Zhejiang City, the capital of Nanha Province, for a one-year entrepreneurial experience. As for why hiring an old lady instead of a celebrity, in Guo Kai's words, it's not that celebrities can't afford it, but rather that the old lady is more cost-effective. Shu Chang is one of these 100 grandmothers. Actually, at the beginning, Shu Chang didn't expect to be selected. After all, he was just a little grandma with only 50,000 fans. However, it is possible that the pet district he is in is too cold, and there are not many grandmothers who can handle it. Coupled with the halo of local grandmothers in Nanha Province, he was unexpectedly selected. With great anticipation, he opened his pet shop named Pet Is You, and walked inside comfortably, introducing his small shop to the camera. It seems that the production team is quite good. This pet shop is about 50 square meters, which is already considered a big one among small pet shops. Moreover, the production team seems to have equipped a lot of pets. Let's take a look at what they all have. Thanks to his early promotion to his fans, although he didn't have much fame, there were still 20 or 30 fans in his live broadcast room. As the pet store opened, the barrage in the live broadcast room gradually increased. Changgu has finally achieved his wish to open a pet store. Congratulations. Cheer up, Brother Chang. I heard that this program ranks every month, and there will be financial support for the top 10. Brother Chang strives to get in the top 10, grow bigger and stronger, and create more brilliance. Shu Chang looked at the barrage and let out a bitter smile. Thank you all for your support, but you really dare to think. Even in the top 10, you can kill me. If I don't become the last 10 to be punished, I would be grateful. The fans in the live broadcast room were choking for a moment when the barrage disappeared, but fortunately, everyone was a comfortable old fan and got used to his poisonous mouth. Changgu is still as usual, well, reality. However, it's also true that the pet area can't get up at the small station. Changgu is already considered the top in the pet area, with only 50,000 followers. Yeah, I see there are several aunties who have attracted hundreds or even millions of fans this time. Well, I heard that the fishing industry leader who always stares at the fish in the tank at home without going fishing has opened a fishing gear store. There are also fruits that claim to have a name in Southeast Asia that have been eaten before. Hunter Liang Xiaonyang, who named them herself without a name, also opened a fruit shop. Right. Also, if I make something useful, I'll lose. If there's no meme, I'll start a hardware store with a handmade meme that creates memes by hand. Wang Gang, who always shakes his head in other people's cooking videos, has also arrived. He seems to be running a braised restaurant. I am very eager to grow anything and have opened a flower shop on Dehua Street, although I don't want to admit it. What Changgu said is indeed reality. Seeing everyone's morale low, I felt relieved and afraid that only a few fans would run away again. I quickly went back to make up for it. Although there are few people watching pet videos on Xiaopa Station, there are still many people who like pets offline. Let's first take a look at what pets the program team has provided. Now we finally attract everyone's attention to the pet store. Well, this is the cat and dog area. First, let's take a look at this dog. Its skin is shiny and yellow and white. Well, this is a local dog, but you also need to understand that the program team only has 100,000 yuan to start each store. Puff, haha, Brother Chang can't keep up with it anymore. This program team is really good, at least getting a teddy or something is better than getting a local dog. Yeah, who still keeps a local dog in the city now? Isn't this bullying an honest person? Shu Chang was also very helpless. For those top housewives, the production team naturally communicated every detail of the store, but when it came to him, they only gave him a list, asking for 3 requirements. The first point he wrote was to have cats and dogs. After all, pets are the mainstream now. Now the dog does exist, but it is a local dog. Then, looking at a little cat next to it, this is the civet cat, is also a local cat, which is quite compatible with local dogs. Sure enough, the program team did not disappoint him when it came to matching a local dog with a local cat. Unwilling to give up, I walked around the pet store. The birds in the store were black chickens, the small pets were experimental mice, the turtles were the 3 heroes of the street vendor, Hua, Chow, Ba, the fish were grass goldfish and crucian carp, and there were several hairy crabs, 1 turtle, and even 2 cauliflower snakes in the corner. After completing 1 turn, fully emo towards the camera and let go of both eyes, is it still possible for me to change the store name to the fresh produce area of the market now? Puff, haha. Brother Chang can do emo, there's something in the production team. Not to mention, the purchasing channel for the production team may be the vegetable market. This is too bullying. I just went to the live broadcast room next door where I really wanted to watch it. There are good green plants such as crane magnolia and happiness tree. Yeah, Liang Xiaonyang's fruit shop also has many high-priced fruits such as strawberries, red hair pills, and cherries. Why did it become a vegetable market for Changgu? Just as the barrage of bullets was fighting for Shu Chang's grievances, she let out a ding sound in her ear, detected that the host has their own pet store, meets the system binding conditions, and is currently bound to the Everything Live system. P.S. Why don't everyone add bookshelves and not push for updates? Don't you know that as long as you're handsome and reach out, the author will work hard to code like a donkey in the production team. Chapter 2. No one will open a pet shop. Have you not passed the beast language level 4? You are listening at novel full.audio. Sleeping slot. He almost jumped up in relief and immediately thought that he was on the live broadcast. Blushed and coughed at the camera, cough, that's something that everyone who has learned chess should know. In chess, there is a movement called lying trough horse. I just thought of this wonderful move, it definitely has no other meaning. The people in the live broadcast room thought that being comfortable was an opportunity to complain about the program group, so they also cheered along. Yes, I testify that Brother Chang knows chess. A new usage of chess has been discovered. How do you deal with me when I hit the jackpot, Brother Chang? I swear, Brother Chang never took the opportunity to roast about the program group, or he would have made it 2 centimeters shorter downstairs. At this point, Shu Chang could no longer care about the people in charge of the live broadcast room. The system he had been longing for was originally bound to open a pet store. If he had known he would have opened a store after graduation, he wouldn't have had to go through these 10 years of detours. Ding, the beginner gift pack has been distributed. May I ask if the host has opened it? Is there any need to ask? Hurry up and open it. Ding, the host gains. 1. How can a man be a little dog? The host can increase their physical fitness by 10 points, and currently their physical fitness is 55 points, note. Normal men have a physical fitness of 50 points, too. No way. No way. No one will open a pet store, will they? They haven't even passed the animal language level 4, have they? The host animal language has been upgraded to level 8. Feeling the quietly bulging muscles on his body, he felt quite excited and relaxed. He was born with a natural physique of not eating too much, which once troubled him. After all, as a man, being too thin is not good. Now that the system has arrived, it will immediately eliminate the disease. If it were the system, why would it be so frustrating? Wong, bipedal beast, don't be in a daze there. It's time for dinner, dog lord. I'm hungry. After a moment of relief, I realized that the second gift package in the system was level 8 beast language. So this sentence was said by the dog in front of me. It's not too magical. Dog, are you hungry? The dog in the cage was so frightened that a humanized fear appeared on its face. It jumped backwards, forgetting that it was inside the cage, and with a loud bang, its butt collided with it. Woo, pain, two-legged beast, can you speak dog language? Shu Chang was amused by the actions of the dog, but he felt that he shouldn't laugh. After all, mocking the dog on the first conversation was somewhat impolite. But after thinking about all the sad things I've encountered in my life, I still can't hold back. Pooh, ha, I'm sorry, I have received professional training and usually don't laugh unless I can't hold back. Wong, you're such a two-legged beast. How dare you mock the dog master? You wouldn't think only air ha would demolish the house, would you? Shu Chang's face was taken aback. Okay, stop laughing, but if you want to eat, it's not impossible. First, call out to Dad and listen. The dog angrily circled and roared inside the cage. Wow, if the dog lord just wants to have a bite of food, dare you ask him to call him Dad? If the dog lord wants to go out for a walk, you can't ride on the dog lord's back. I'll tell you, even if I starve to death here and accidentally hit the cage, I won't eat a single grain of dog food from you. Shu Chang couldn't get used to it either, so he took a bag of dog food and came to the dog. While reading the instructions, he muttered softly in a voice that the dog could hear, "This dog food looks really good. Let me see what's inside. Oh, there's beef, salmon, corn, sweet potatoes." Every time Shu Chang reads, the dog's mouth opens a little bit, until it can no longer stop opening its big mouth and darting back and forth in the cage, with its saliva continuously flowing out. Dad, come on, give it to me. I want beef, I want salmon. Upon hearing this, Shu Chang's aunt smiled and reached out to touch the dog's head. "You're so good. Come on, let's eat." As he spoke, he poured the dog food into the dog basin. Seeing this, the dog buried its head in the basin and wagged its tail like a windmill. Bark, bar, oh, how fragrant. Although the water enthusiasts in the live broadcast room couldn't understand Guzzi's words, watching Guzzi perform face-changing on site immediately because of a bag of dog food was also very enjoyable. They quickly edited and posted the video to their respective pet groups, allowing everyone to quickly watch Guzzi who can change his face, which attracted a wave of traffic to Shu Chang. Shu Chang was happily singing Rua with a second sound, while the dog was outside the pet store. There was a commotion outside, and when he looked up, it turned out that the host, chef.What, had come to explore the store. If there is no system, just focus on the fresh food market arranged by the program team, and after a few simple sentences, start considering finding a new job next month. But now, with the system, there must be some trouble. After all, the system says that there are two ways to obtain skills. One is to complete the system's tasks, and the other is to obtain traffic and use it to purchase skills in the system mall. How can we avoid causing trouble if we want to have traffic? Hello, Xiao Shu, Xiao Chang, The host, chef.What, was sweating profusely. Just now, at the fruit hunter Liang Xiaonyang's place, he was mocked by the barrage group for calling him Xiaonyang. It's not enough to call him uncle or small intestine. Seeing that he hadn't started anything yet, the host started it first. The other party gave him face, so he naturally couldn't make him difficult, so he casually handed over a friendly step. Hee, just call me comfortable. The water enthusiasts in the main live broadcast room saw another popular live broadcast accident segment, and barrage immediately flew up. Less talk, now it's time for my salary to be deducted again. Well, not bad. The production team knows how to invite guests. Don't say, this old lady is a bit handsome. Follow her closely. Yen go, fork it out. By the way, is Shu also a surname? Yes, the famous writer Lao Shi's real name is Shu Chingchen. Amazing, I only know that you arrested Lu Sun. What's the matter with me, Zhou Shuren? In the backstage of the production team, Guo Kai's mouth twitched. Sure enough, variety shows shouldn't be doing any live broadcasts, and there were two minor accidents at the beginning. Although they are all trivial issues, it should be noted that everything is always difficult as long as the beginning is difficult. There will inevitably be difficulties in the middle, and the end will only be more difficult. The station chief shouldn't have chosen to be a talkative host just for the sake of cost-effectiveness. Although he has once held the top position in the hosting industry, after all, he has been idle at home for a long time after a hosting accident, and his ability to adapt on the spot has decreased significantly. Guo Kai sighed helplessly and turned to the assistant, saying, "You keep an eye on it." Then he reached out and took out 3 prepared incense sticks from the side to light them. He respectfully bowed 3 times to Guangdong on the incense table, inserted the incense sticks into the incense burner with both hands, and stared blankly at the slowly rising smoke. Guo Kai felt a little relieved. If this variety show is a big gamble for the audience, it will be a battle of life and fortune for him. If the performance is not good, the audience will bleed heavily, and he will inevitably be kicked out. He has already tried his best to fight for everything he could think of in the early stage, and the rest can only be blessed by Lord Guan. The host said, "Bless, here," hurriedly catching the comfortable steps passed by. Okay, then Shu Chang, let me introduce your pet store to everyone." Well, okay, hello everyone, welcome to the Pet Is You pet store. Although our store is small, it's a sparrow with all 5 organs, flying in the sky, running on the ground, swimming in the water, and all kinds of pets. Only you can think of them, and you can't buy them without them. Speaking of which, Shu Chang pointed to Guzzi and greeted him with a circle on his face. For example, this repair dog has a yellow back, a white belly, a short pointed mouth, flat ears and legs, and a raised tail. It is a rare pure-blood Chinese dog that you can never buy in a regular pet store. The silly and cute dog hit the heart of the female water enthusiast in the live broadcast room. Wow, such a silly and cute dog, I really want to. National dog, it's really impressive at first listen. Can I go to the anchor store to repair my dog if I don't buy it? The dog was suddenly interviewed with an expression on its face, who am I and where am I? It was so funny. At this moment, a less harmonious barrage suddenly popped out. Hee, the anchor is really good at boasting. This is just a rural dog, and even in the vegetable market, it's like throwing away a dog meat stall. There's no such thing as a Chinese dog, it can really put gold on one's face. However, the anchor has a saying that is correct. Generally, pet stores cannot buy this kind of dog because no one buys it at all. Ah! Is this a local dog? It should be, I said. It looks quite similar to the dog from my hometown. Seeing the bullet scream, the corners of Shu Chang's mouth slightly curled up, he thought to himself, hard work pays off to those who are willing. Finally, someone has jumped out and he can start pretending to be forced. Chapter 3, Quickly disperse, he's going to start pretending to be forced. You are listening at novelfull.audio. The comfortable old fan knew at the sight of his iconic upturned lips that he was about to start hating others. Brother Chang, this is going to provoke people. That person's speech is indeed not pleasant, but Changgu himself just said that he is indeed a local dog. A relaxed and leisurely speech. I saw someone just now saying, this is a local dog. So I would like to ask, what is soil and what is ocean? What is domestic rustic and what is foreign stylish? Do you know that in recent years, the Japanese Shiba dog that has been pursued is actually just a Japanese local dog? And do foreign dogs that claim to be pure blood appear very noble with certificates? Those certificates are just a symbol of shame for inbreeding, where a son insults his mother, a father sleeps with his daughter, and siblings intersect. Looking at the dog in front of us again, it is a pet dog that our ancestors have trained for thousands of years. There are records about it in the Qin Dynasty. Before his execution, the Prime Minister of the Qin Dynasty, Li Si, lamented, if I were to lead the yellow dog with Ruofu, how could I obtain it? Go up to Kai and chase the cunning rabbit at the east gate. The yellow dog mentioned it. Everyone has memorized Su Dongpa's Jiang Chengzi Mijo hunting when they were in school. The phrase, left pulling yellow, right lifting Cang, brocade hat and mink fur, 1,000 riders rolling flat hills also refers to it. Its official scientific name has never been Tugo, but rather the Chinese countryside dog, but I prefer to use its other honorific name, Chinese national dog, to refer to it. I don't understand why a dog that has been favored by our ancestors for thousands of years has become a local dog that can't enter a pet store in some people's mouths. Of course, saying these things does not completely negate foreign dogs. Indeed, some famous dogs are more in line with modern aesthetics under specific breeding methods. The cost is also enormous. In order to cultivate these dogs in a targeted manner, they are often weak and sickly. Buying a dog for 500 yuan may require paying 5,000 yuan for medical treatment. I won't mention whether it's worth it for now. Let's first consider what pets are used for. I think pets are for companionship, not for showing off. Ask yourself, is it a beautiful but occasionally tormented dog that is suitable to accompany us, or a possibly not so beautiful but healthy dog that is suitable to accompany us? Every pet is a life, and I hope everyone can think clearly before purchasing a pet, be responsible for life and also for their conscience. A lively debate between a local dog and a foreign dog, citing classics and extensive references, shook the water enthusiasts in the live broadcast room for a moment. The host applauded with a few words, Shu Chang, your groundbreaking debate can be said to be deafening. It can be seen that you have a strong heart for Chinese dogs, and we also hope that everyone can pay more attention to our traditional culture and pets in China in the future. What's more important is to follow me. Shu Chang answered the conversation. Of course, everyone should also pay more attention to Shu Chang. At this moment, the live broadcast room began to burst out with dense barrage of bullets. Sleeping in a slot, it's all my fault for not having any culture. One sentence goes, sleeping in a slot leads the world. It can only be said that the anchor is awesome and has paid attention. Looking at the dirty teddy next to me, I feel like my conscience is attacking me. Take it to the shower tomorrow. Stop talking, let's get a local dog now. No, Chinese national dog. This must be noted, this anchor has something to offer. Shu Chang reminds me of my Chinese language teacher, who can easily pick up all kinds of ancient texts when talking, giving people a feeling of shock even though they don't understand them. When the anchor was speaking just now, there was a handsome demeanor that disregarded the lives of others. Our ancestors left behind many excellent things, but unfortunately many of them were abandoned by ourselves. Discovering treasure anchor, I thought you were a pet anchor, but who knew you were actually a cultural anchor? With barrage after barrage, the number of online users in the Shu Chang live broadcast room has rapidly increased, reaching over 10,000 in a short period of time. Guo Kai also instructed the assistant to follow suit. There's something about this Shu Chang. Give him some traffic, I feel he has the potential to be popular. Also, check with the purchasing department and ask what's going on. How can we arrange a local dog for the pet store? If it weren't for Shu Chang's cleverness, it would have been a live broadcast accident. The assistant feels very helpless. He is just a 007 assistant, so it's okay to ask him to distribute traffic. Ask him to ask the purchasing department. Who does the purchasing department belong to? Don't the director know? This is to make oneself die, so I quickly operated it on the computer. Well, director, I checked and found out that Shu Chang's 3 requirements at the time were to have cats and dogs, with as many varieties as possible and as many quantities as possible. However, the total cost of each store is only 100,000, so it is estimated that procurement is also a last resort. Guo Kai's mouth twitched. This is really comfortable. It's both necessary and necessary. Seeing that the director no longer asked him to look for procurement, the assistant finally let go of his worries, but he also silently considered resigning in his heart. Although this job has a lot of nonsense, the salary is low. Although the bonus is low, there are many black holes. Famous critic and 5-star General MacArthur all said that this job is really not done by humans. Xiao Hua glanced at the pet store again, looking at the crabs, cushion carp, turtles, and black chickens. He was worried that if he continued to ask, Shu Chang would not be able to prove that this was not a market, so he didn't plan to stay and eat. He quickly bid farewell to Shu Chang. Alright, audience friends, everyone has seen Shu Chang's pet store. If you need pets, please come to Shu Chang's store to purchase. Shu Chang, I wish you good business. Let's go to the next store next. It can only be said that she truly deserves to be the happy tongue of a wealthy woman. After a series of clichés, she didn't give Shu Chang a chance to speak up, so she ran out of the store as if. Shu Chang raised her hand and finally swallowed the words that came to her mouth. I can still introduce other pets to everyone. After all, since they have already left, calling them back would not be so dignified. Adjust your emotions and speak comfortably to the camera again. Next, let me introduce to you the cats in the store. Ding ling ling, the wind chime hanging at the door interrupted his words, and when he turned around, a girl dressed in a white dress, note. Not the female lead, stood there in a lively manner. Whether it's a girl's appearance or figure, the first sight of her will make men recall their running under the sunset and the passing of youth. The girl's face was slightly anxious, holding a black cat in her hand. When she saw Shu Chang looking over, she spoke softly, "Hello, I found a little cat outside. It seems to be injured, but I'm in a hurry to go to class. Can you take it in, brother?" Shu Chang looked bewildered. Can't you see the 3 words, pet shop, in front of my door? This is not a pet hospital. Even if you have a first love, I won't ding. As a pet shop owner, you actually want to face death without saving. Will your conscience not hurt? Please ask the host to take in the kitten, complete the task, and reward the animal's ancient medical skills. If the task fails, the host will be 2 centimeters shorter. Chapter 4. A Black Cat with Only Stories. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Animal Ancient Medicine. Is there still such medicine? Hee, ignorant host, you wouldn't think that ancient pets didn't seek medical treatment when they were sick, would you? When the system said this, Shu Chang also understood that he had entered a misconception, thinking that ancient people had poor medical conditions and subconsciously believed that they would not treat pets. But he forgot that there were wealthy people in any era, and they probably paid more for treating pets than poor people paid for treating themselves. The task has been generated. Do you want to accept it? If you don't accept it, it will be automatically processed as a task failure. Shu Chang's face changed dramatically. This medical skill is not important, mainly because the punishment for failure is a bit heavy. I silently thought to myself, I accept. The girl saw Shu Chang there and thought he was not willing, so she quickly said again, I can give money, just ask you to take care of it. No problem, come on, give it to me. With ease, he reached out and took the black cat from the girl's hand. The girl was stunned for a moment, not expecting Shu Chang to agree so happily. Is money so easy to use? Suddenly feeling uneasy and handing over the cat to him, what's wrong with being fat? However, the girl didn't have many choices after all, so she had to ask weakly, so, how much does it cost approximately? With a comfortable and bitter smile, forget about the money. If you like it, just come over and pick it up in a few days. The girl blushed slightly upon hearing this, looked at Shu Chang in shock, and quickly replied, well, I'll come back in a few days. Thank you, the shopkeeper brother. After speaking, he quickly turned around and walked out of the small shop. Shu Chang scratched his head, feeling like he owed money when he left his store 1 by 2. Seeing that Shu Chang had not yet opened, he first picked up an injured kitten, and the barrage immediately exploded. Chang, you have changed. You have actually lowered your head to beauty. I just want to say, the anchor let go of that girl and let me do it. The anchor has a bit of a Madonna mentality. The program's monthly reviews are calculated based on revenue. If we all do this, we may soon be eliminated. Does no one think the anchor is very caring? Even the kittens are injured, how pitiful. What's the use of love? The anchor doesn't know how to heal cats, and even if they pick up a kitten, they are helpless. Can't the production team come over and pick up the kitten for treatment? Be more rational, there's so much help needed that the production team can't help. Shu Chang looked at the barrage of bullets and thought to herself, you don't know what I've endured, but you said it honestly, thank you for your concern. The reason why I accept this kitten is naturally because I have a deep understanding of medical skills. As long as it's cured, if that girl doesn't come and take it away, then I'll have an extra cat for sale. Even if she comes to pick up the cat, I still have a potential cat food customer. So, this wave is not a loss. After a set of arguments, the live broadcast room suddenly changed its tone. I am superficial, the anchor knows how to do business. Boy, I thought the anchor was on the first floor, but I didn't expect him to be in the atmosphere. Anchor, I heard your abacus ringing even in northeast China. In a barrage of bullets, the system's reward has also arrived. With a ding sound, Shu Chang felt that there were countless traditional Chinese medicine treatments for pets in his mind. So he stopped paying attention to the live broadcast room and began observing the injuries of the black cat. Well, I broke my right front leg and it's a bit inflamed. I need to first feel for any broken bones inside. There's no anesthesia here, so it's a bit painful. Please hold back and don't move. The black cat seemed to have no idea that it could understand Shu Chang's words. Its water blue eyes looked at Shu Chang in surprise and then let out a soft cry, meow, okay, thank you. Seeing the black cat respond, he comfortably and carefully touched the wound with his hand. The black cat let out a painful meow, and its body trembled slightly, but it obediently remained motionless. Seeing this, I couldn't help but take a gentle sigh of relief. After all, I am a stranger cat. Although I can communicate, it does not mean that I will be obedient." Seeing the black cat obediently cooperating with him, Shu Chang became more confident in the upcoming treatment. Fortunately, although the pets in the pet store are not reliable, there are first aid kits available, so there is no need to go out and buy equipment. Turning around and taking out the first aid kit, he said to the black cat again, "I broke a bone, but fortunately there were no broken bones. All I need to do is connect the bones and take anti-inflammatory drugs for a few more days." Although the black cat is a cat, Shu Chang always feels as if it is preoccupied. After listening to Shu Chang's words, it only meows absent-mindedly, as if it is another cat that has been injured. However, treating injuries is crucial, and Shu Chang has no intention of exploring a cat's troubles. "Perhaps it's just that I haven't tasted the delicious dried fish and feel a bit down, or maybe I feel a bit cramped in a strange environment." Next, Shu Chang first disinfected the black cat, then took out 2 small splints, gently helped the black cat connect the bones, fixed them with small splints and gauze, and wrapped a layer of gauze outside to prevent contamination of the wound. The entire treatment process was considered a complete success. Throughout the process, the black cat, except for a gentle meow when it couldn't bear it anymore, remained motionless. If it were a person, it would be comfortable to praise him for being a man. However, when he bandaged it, he had already seen it. It was a female cat, so he could only praise it as a good cat. Seeing the smooth and clean treatment of the black cat, the live broadcast room was once again filled with admiration. "The anchor is amazing. I feel that this technique is more professional than doctors in general pet hospitals. The cat is also so well behaved and strong, surprisingly not moving at all. This is probably the cat that got lost in someone's house. Wildcats usually don't behave so well. I am the director of a pet hospital. Would the host be interested in becoming a doctor at our hospital? The conditions can be discussed." Appeared, the legendary live poacher, envious of the anchor, with good looks and excellent medical skills. "Anchor, your dressing technique is so unique. It doesn't seem like it's a common dressing technique, but I feel it's better than the current one. Can you teach me?" A small surgery has once again led to a slight increase in the number of people in the comfortable live broadcast room, and now the number of people online has reached 20,000. Shu Chang glanced at it and couldn't help but feel happy. Even if he lost some money on this black cat, it was worth it. After all, for him now, traffic is more important than money. Gently comforting the black cat, who was feeling a bit exhausted from the pain, Shu Chang began to interact with the water friends in the live broadcast room again. "Hehe, thank you all for your attention. Medical skills are just a hobby, so it's okay to go to a pet hospital. Learn to bandage, no problem, welcome anytime. As for this black cat, it should indeed be lost. Everyone can help spread it. Its owner can come to me anytime if they see it. My store is Pet Is You Pet Store, located at the southernmost end of Dehua Street." The black cat, who had already slightly closed its eyes on the side, opened its eyes again after hearing this sentence and said weakly, "Meow, there's no need to find my master. She's already dead and was killed by a man in front of me not long ago." Upon hearing this, Shu Chang's hair stood on end. What did he hear? If I understand correctly, I'm afraid this black cat witnessed a murder case not long ago. Chapter 5. Children, you have good eyes today. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Although Shu Chang was very anxious, he knew he couldn't be in a hurry. After all, if he didn't have a gimmick and had a conversation with a cat in the live broadcast room, he would probably have been taken to a mental hospital before he could have understood the matter. Looking at the injured right leg of the black cat, Shu Chang suddenly had an idea and looked mysteriously at the camera. "Bowsy, you have good eyesight today." Upon hearing this, a batch of old color swatches suddenly emerged in the live broadcast room. "The anchor is going to cause trouble. The anchor is going to do the edge dance. Jump, jump, brother, do a strip dance, and I'll brush rockets for him." Seeing this sentence, he was really moved. The revenue of the broadcast room is also included in the revenue of the store. However, considering the consequences of being blocked, he still coughed reluctantly. Cough, where did you think? I'm a serious pet anchor. We know, so dancing the edge dance requires extra money, right? Understand, are those 2 rockets enough? Yes, I can also add 2 rockets. Shu Chang's face was filled with tears and laughter from the barrage, so he no longer dared to show off and quickly stated his purpose. Alright, don't test an old cadre like this. It's really unbearable. To be honest, as you all know, I'm a pet shop owner, so it's reasonable for me to communicate with animals. Yes, that's reasonable. Bullshit. Pet shop owners need to be able to telepathize, so should coffins also be able to catch zombies. Wow, so pet shop owners are all psychic. I'll go downstairs to the pet shop and ask why my teddy always rubs against my legs and damages several of my stockings. Upstairs, if I'm not mistaken, your teddy is public, right? Yeah, how do you know? It's so amazing. Are you also a pet shop owner? I'm not a pet shop owner, but I can answer your question. The reason why your teddy would rub against your legs is because at its height, it can only rub against your legs. Just take it for sterilization. I am the owner of a pet shop, and I want to refute rumors. Which good pet shop owner can communicate? I want to sue the anchor for defamation. The anchor is really good at boasting. He dares to say anything to attract attention. He's closed the level seeing that the atmosphere is in place. If the barrage continues to spread, it is likely to be reported soon. It would be a loss of blood to be reported without even receiving a rocket. So Shu Chang quickly continued to speak. Of course, we need to conduct some science popularization here. The so-called teleportation is not about soul communication, it is feudal superstition. What we call teleportation refers to inferring an animal's psychological changes based on its subtle movements. Only by explaining it in this way can everyone express their understanding. Well, I thought the anchor was going to perform the divine jump, they were all about to close the level just now. This is also very impressive. Can anyone really do it? It should be there. I heard that there are micro-expression experts in the police station, who can analyze the psychology of prisoners based on their subtle facial expressions and movements. That anchor is not even more powerful than a micro-expression expert. After all, animals' faces are covered in fur, making it even more difficult to observe. My face is covered in hair and I'm laughing to death. I can't say that. After all, animal psychology will be much simpler. If I were to use the animal performance in the store, someone would definitely say that I had prepared in advance. So today, I will add a difficulty level and use this black cat that has just been delivered to perform a teleportation for everyone. Everyone, please follow and help the anchor. The more you follow, the higher the probability of successful teleportation. Follow me, anchor, get started now. Impossible, if the anchor succeeds, I will live upside down and eat xiang. Don't lie here to eat or drink. Upstairs, after the number of people in the live broadcast room slowly increased to 30,000, he pretended to caress the black cat while taking out a handful of cat food and said, "Babies, don't blink. There is only one chance to teach you animal spirituality for free. The first thing we need to do now is to build trust with our pets through touching, feeding, and other actions." After a moment, Shu Chang placed a piece of cat food in his palm and handed it to the black cat. Although the black cat was a bit puzzled about what Shu Chang was doing, at least he knew he wasn't a bad person, so he didn't hesitate to eat the cat food. Seeing the black cat eat cat food, he continued happily, "It has accepted my goodwill, indicating that the conditions for spiritual communication have been met and I can start spiritual communication." Water enthusiasts in the live broadcast room expressed confusion one after another. Is that enough? Give it a few bites and then feed some cat food. Can you tell me this is called teleportation? It doesn't seem like there's anything. What, I thought I met a great god, but ended up jumping into a great god. Shu Chang ignored these questioning voices and just adjusted his posture, facing the black cat with a serious expression on his face, "Can you tell me your name?" "Meow, Yu. Yu, you were not abandoned by your master, were you?" The black cat looked puzzled. "Meow, it's all said that Meow's owner has been killed." Nod comfortably. "Well, I see now, so even if you're injured, it's not because your owner hurt you, right?" The black cat lowered its head melancholically, wanting to lick the wound, but stopped again when it saw the gauze on the wound. "Meow, no, Meow saw that bad guy trying to harm his owner. Meow went to stop him and was injured by him. Meow is really useless, it's useless to protect his owner." Woo woo. The people in the live broadcast only saw Shu Chang ask the black cat, "Meow meow," a few times. It really seemed like a question and answer, and couldn't help but be greatly shocked. "I'm going, how does it feel like the anchor is really talking to the black cat?" "Yeah, I've got goosebumps." "Do you know the name of the cat now?" "No, how did the anchor identify a cat's name from its facial expressions and actions?" The key is that the anchor also agrees to shout, "You cat." I'm not Miss Lee, but I was greatly shocked. Is the cat crying? It feels so pitiful. What's wrong with the cat? Let the anchor translate it. On how to say 3 sentences. Cry a cat. At this moment, Shu Chang could no longer ignore the barrage and gently stroked the black cat, comforting her. "All right, don't be sad anymore. You said your master was murdered, do you still remember that person's appearance?" A humanized hatred appeared in the eyes of the black cat. Even if the man turns into a gray cat, he can still recognize him, and the cat scratched his left arm. "It's only been 2 days now, and the wound shouldn't have healed yet. A refreshing moment before my eyes, this is an important clue, I will contact the police station now to confirm." As he spoke, he picked up his phone and prepared to call the police. The live broadcast room is once again frying pan. "Hey guy, I'll call you guys, fantasy movies can turn into detective movies in seconds. Acting on it, can a cat's 2 calls provide so much information? You see, the anchor is about to report to the police, so it shouldn't be fake, right? It's too terrifying. Is it really a murderer? It's a bit of a drama. If you call the police with the action of a cat, the police won't even pay attention, right? That's right, the anchor should ask again, don't be caught as a fake alarm. Human life is at stake. It's better to believe in its existence than its absence. It's better to call the police. The anchor is definitely acting. I bet 10 yuan that he will definitely use various excuses not to report to the police later. Shu Chang picked up his phone and was about to call the police when he suddenly heard a ding sound and a message popped up on his phone. He glanced at it and saw that it was a all headline push, so he didn't intend to pay attention to it. When the corner of my eye caught a glimpse of the word wanted inside, I was taken aback. Then, I stopped making a phone call and clicked on the push message, which read: "A murder case has occurred in Zhejiang City, Nanha Province, and the perpetrator is currently at large." In the blurry photo above, comfortably extending the phone to the black cat, is this the person? At the moment of seeing the picture, Yu's hair stood up all over her body. Although her leg was injured, she still reflexively arched her body, with a gleam of hatred in her eyes. Meow, it's him. Meow must catch him and avenge his master. Chapter 6. You did report to the police. You are listening at novel full.audio. Ding, when you see injustice on the road, you pull out your sword to help. Faced with such a pitiful and helpless cat, the host will definitely not be ruthless in not helping it. Please ask the host to help Black Cat Yu bring the culprit to justice within 24 hours. Complete the task and reward mastery of Tai Chi sword. Task failed, penalize the host for being 2 centimeters short. The sound of this system prompt made the comfortable moment of always having everything under control not calm down. It's not over, is it? Firstly, in terms of the system, I don't have a knife, so I can't pull it out to help. Moreover, what I believe in is a roar when encountering injustice on the road, followed by walking forward without turning back. Secondly, I would like to confirm whether you are binding me or my pet. Is it okay if the host can help the pet? That's a murderer, not to mention where to find someone that the police can't even catch. Even if I find him, what do you want me to use to catch him and tell him a joke to make him laugh? If you're jealous of my length, you can be frank. There's no need to beat around the bush like this to harm me. The system also experienced some downtime due to the output from Shu Chang, and it paused for a moment before replying. Please rest assured that the purpose of this system is to promote the harmonious development of the host and pets. Therefore, the tasks provided by the system are evaluated comprehensively and have a probability of completion of over 80% before being issued. May I ask if the host accepts this? After listening to this, Shu Chang nodded, slightly satisfied. There is still a certain degree of operability in saying so. Although it's not 100% risky, it's still a bit risky. However, the pursuit of wealth and fortune insurance has been successful. At this moment, the onlookers in the live broadcast room were all extremely anxious. What did the anchor show the cat, and why did the cat react so strongly? Is it a cat movie? Manual comedy, disgusting upstairs? No, it's already some time. You're still joking like this. The anchor really dares not report to the police. Let's see how he can come back later. Shu Chang was also very cooperative when he aimed his phone at the camera. Just as I was about to report to the police, a message popped up on my phone, which was a wanted notice. After being identified by Yu, the person on the wanted notice was the perpetrator who killed its owner. I'm going, real and fake. Just as I was about to report to the police, a wanted notice came. Even anti-Japanese dramas dare not act like this, right? To be fair, the anchor's previous performance was quite impressive, but the Liang wanted notice has some flaws. It's even more convincing to say that the bystander outside the door is a murderer. You may not believe it, but I'm from Nanha. I just had this wanted notice popped up on my phone, and now I'm so scared that I'm trapped in bed. Oh, this anchor has prepared quite a bit, even the support has been prepared. With a bitter smile, not to mention netizens, even he couldn't believe it. It was a bit scary that this happened. It is said that black cats are often accompanied by supernatural events, and if it weren't for the system, they would have doubted whether they had hit evil spirits. Yu was actually injured in her leg. She stood up excitedly just now, and when her emotions returned to normal, she let out a few painful screams as if she was about to fall. With a carefree hand and quick eyes, I picked it up and gently comforted the quiet emotions. Then, I examined the wound that had been bandaged, but fortunately, it did not cause any secondary injury. Yu, I can understand your feelings. Don't worry, I will definitely help you catch this criminal and avenge your master. The barrage has now almost become a one-sided criticism of Shu Chang. Stop pretending and catch the criminals. If you really let the murderer run in front of the anchor probably runs faster than a cat. The anchor messed up the performance. Let's continue to introduce the pets in the store. The anchor should focus on their areas of expertise and not just mess around with things they don't have and lose popularity. However, Shu Chang finally saw that both black and red were red. Just as he was being criticized one-sided in the live broadcast room, the number of online viewers in the live broadcast room surprisingly increased instead of decreasing, and now it is almost 50,000. Feeling his chin, he fell into deep thought and wondered if he wanted to continue stimulating his friends and see if he could earn another wave of traffic. At this moment, Yu suddenly sniffed lightly and let out a puzzled meow. Meow seems to smell a familiar scent. A secluded and humanized frown. It's a bit disgusting, but also a bit familiar. Shu Chang's heart tightened as he remembered the 24-hour task of capturing criminals as stated by the system. When the system explained, he had thought about the possibility of murderers coming to his door. Otherwise, he was not a police officer, so it was impossible and he had no ability to find the criminals. Is it the smell of that murderer? The black cat's secluded eyes suddenly flashed with a brilliant light. Yes, that's right, it's him. That person has a nauseating smell on him. Shu Chang's mouth twitched as he realized what kind of bad luck he had. The murderer, whom the police couldn't even find, was brought to his door. But the question is, what do you use to catch people or let dogs bite people? Glancing at the clear and foolish dog in the cage, he shook his head comfortably and gave up the idea. The dog felt a little flustered with a comfortable look, thinking to himself that something bad had almost happened just now. It must be that the two-legged beast was plotting to harm the dog master. Subsequently, Guzzi denied his own thoughts and said, "It shouldn't be. Gui has even condescended to call him dad, isn't he satisfied? Can you say that if he has a cat outside now, he's not planning to have a dog master?" Shaking his head, the dog decided that since he couldn't figure it out, he wouldn't think about it and the matter would be resolved immediately. "Well, smart as a dog, I can easily handle anything I encounter." The dog, who had figured it out, was satisfied and changed to a comfortable position, lying on the ground and began to take a nap. Shu Chang searched around the pet store again and found that the two cauliflower snakes with the strongest combat power may be the ones. If you want to use cauliflower snakes to subdue the criminals, unless the criminals are afraid of snakes, they must also be the kind that can scare out heart disease. Shu Chang anxiously thought of countermeasures while occasionally looking out at the bustling crowd outside the door, afraid that the criminal would suddenly emerge from the crowd. After thinking for a moment, I felt my palms were sweating. Finally, I gritted my teeth and decided to believe in the system and Yu. I picked up my phone and quickly pressed a few keys. "Hello, is it the Public Security Bureau? I am the owner of the Pet Is You pet store on Dehua Street. I need to report to the police. I saw the wanted criminal on the wanted notice you just issued. Yes, it's right here on Dehua Street." After reporting to the police, Shu Chang got up and went to close the store door. He also grabbed the large iron lock that locked the door and then returned to the back of the counter with a little peace of mind. Whether it's the program or the system, it's not as important as fate. Boy, the anchor is going to the extreme. You really called the police. The anchor dares to say he saw a wanted criminal before even going out. He dares to do anything to become famous. No, the anchor is legal blind. Reporting false information to the police will result in detention. Hey, I thought I had an electronic pet, it seems like I should be banned soon. I wipe it. Is the anchor putting on a good posture and preparing to fight the criminals? So, do you want to do a full set of acting? Watch and cherish it. The police will come knocking on the door later, and this anchor will be gone. Just as he sat comfortably here, the black cat Yu suddenly arched its body again. That person has come over. As soon as he finished speaking, a man quickly walked towards the pet store outside, reached out and pushed open the door, then leaned in and asked, "Boss, is there a shared power bank here?" With a shudder, Shu Chang almost reflexively threw out the iron lock in his hand. Fortunately, at the last moment, he saw that the other person was just a young man in his 20s, and Shu Chang finally stopped. Turning his head, he gave Yu a puzzled look. "Is it him?" Yu shook her head and said, "It's not him. I feel as if I have collapsed, my heart beating faster than when I applaud, and my fingers holding the iron lock have turned white due to excessive force." Waving angrily at the young man, "No, no." The man sneered and pursed his lips. "If it's not there, then it's not there. What attitude! No wonder there's no one in your family." After speaking, he proudly shook his head and walked away. Shu Chang. Hey, this young man. Chapter 7. Men buying dog food. You are listening at Novel Full.audio. Zhang Guanyuan, Deputy Director of Longqing District Public Security Bureau in Zhoujing City, sternly warned with a serious expression on his face. The culprit this time was very brutal. We found out that his location was on Dehua Street, which had just opened today. There was a large flow of people and mixed personnel there, so we must be fully prepared before carrying out the arrest. We must make sure to hit him with one hit. Do you understand? Yes. Okay, let's go. At the entrance of Dehua Street, a group of police officers dressed in plain clothes quietly dispersed, as the crowd began to search for the comfortable pet store. Along the way, the glare in their eyes occasionally swept over the faces of every tourist. The monitoring center on Dehua Street has been taken over by the police, and they are nervously retrieving cameras one by one to analyze suspicious individuals. The production team of China's Good Entrepreneurship told Guo Kai about Shu Chang's report to the police and questioning from the police station. Guo Kai's eyes turned blood red in an instant, and the assistant's heart suddenly changed. The director went on to portray the enchanting scenes in a fantasy drama without even having to put on makeup. Shit, what's going on with that kid? How dare he call the police? Why didn't he communicate with the production team and immediately cut off his signal to inform him that he doesn't need to come tomorrow? Guo Kai roared wildly and smashed all the cheap things he could come across around him. The assistant only responded weakly upon seeing the situation, "Okay, director, but the number of people online in his live broadcast room is almost 100,000 now. If we cut it off." Guo Kai was taken aback and looked at the assistant in disbelief. How could that be? Didn't it only cost 2,000 to 3,000 just now? Xiao Zhu thought for a moment and said, he was like this first, then like this, and when he called the police, the number of people in his live broadcast room reached nearly 100,000. After listening to the assistant's comfortable series of divine operations, Guo Kai couldn't help but twitch. This kid has been frantically probing on the brink of death. First, what kind of teleportation is he doing, and then he calls the police because he heard a cat's words. How dare he? So, are you still pinching? Guo Kai paused for a moment and then forcefully summoned the emperor. Do we still need to take action? The live streaming platform will eventually ban him. It's also good to save us from taking action. Afterwards, he talked to our program team behind the scenes. Looking at the director who never admits his mistake, the assistant said, just be happy. However, after the previous battle, it felt as if all the energy and spirit on my body had been drained. I felt my whole body soft and fluffy, as if I had just recovered from a serious illness. I couldn't use my strength anywhere, and my eyes were still fixed on the door, because Yu said that the person was getting closer and closer. With one hand pressing on Yu, he said calmly and solemnly, "Don't act rashly later. I have already called the police. If he comes in, we just need to try to hold him back and wait for the police to come and arrest him." The faint little paw anxiously scratched back and forth a few times, finally making a meow. "Okay, Meow promises you, he won't make his own decisions." At this moment, a man wearing a black hat and casual black clothing outside the door caught the attention of Shu Chang. Shu Chang has had outstanding observational skills since childhood. He once achieved first place in the country in a popular game called Find Trouble, which is also the only time in his life that he has been stuck with the country. Unfortunately, that game was quickly replaced by a game called Wolf, and quickly disappeared. For this reason, Shu Chang regretted it for a long time. And now the man in black outside the door, feeling comfortable, noticed that his walking posture was a bit inexplicable, as if the shoes he was wearing were not suitable and his walking was grinding his feet. Moreover, he walked side by side with a young couple at the same pace, but the three of them were clearly strangers. The couple only cared about each other, without looking at him from beginning to end, and he only looked around aimlessly with his head half lowered. Shu Chang was about to confirm with Yu whether the man they were looking for was the one they were looking for. He seemed to have noticed Shu Chang's pet shop, looked up slightly and imperceptibly around it, then walked around the couple towards the pet shop. So Shu Chang knew that the main master had arrived. Gently hold Yu with your left hand, and casually place your right hand next to the iron lock to ensure that you can get it in the first place in case of any unexpected situation. Ding ling ling, the door opened and the man in black walked in. A slightly hoarse accent sounded, "Boss, do you have dog food?" After a comfortable pause, I was puzzled. I couldn't have made a mistake, could I? Why does a fugitive want dog food? Out of the corner of his eye, he glanced at Yu and let out a soft, meow, meow, it's him. After obtaining a definite answer, he comfortably pretended to be lazy and lifted his chin. Yes, you can see it on the second row of shelves when you turn right from the front. Thank you. As the man turned around, he slightly looked up at the camera in the store and then inadvertently frowned. There were more cameras in the store than expected. In his experience, this type of small pet shop usually only has one camera inside, which may not be easy to use. However, when he just looked up and saw 3 cameras in the shop, and the red light emanating from inside showed that the cameras were on. In order to prevent the man who lost his phone from being tracked, of course, they are not aware. This is a camera specially installed by the production team to capture any hot shots in the store. However, upon seeing the brand new decoration in the store, the man only thought that Shu Chang was just a young man who was more careful when he first opened the store. He didn't think much and walked to the shelf, casually picked up a pack of dog food, and came to Shu Chang. Boss, let's take this bag and see how much it costs. As the man approached, Shu Chang only felt a strong fox odor wafting over, almost making him vomit. Now he knew what the disgusting smell Yu said was. He thought Yu was using it to describe its disgust towards men, but now it seems, well, it's really disgusting. Is this thug too fast? He doesn't even pick a single item when shopping. I haven't figured out how to procrastinate yet, so I have no choice but to pretend that I'm not proficient in the operation and giggle foolishly, touching my nose. Let me take a look. Sorry, I just opened the store and can't remember the price, hee. Shu Chang turned around and went to the computer to check the price. Before he could reach out to the keyboard, he saw the picture displayed on the computer and his temples burst into a cold sweat. What was displayed on the computer was his live broadcast room screen. Damn it, I forgot to turn off the live broadcast screen on my computer. Glancing at the man in fear, fortunately he didn't pay attention to the computer screen, but occasionally looked outside the store. Trembling hands, I quickly clicked 2 or 3 times before reaching the close button in the live broadcast room to close it. Taking a deep breath of relief, I opened the price list comfortably. The purchase price for this pack of dog food is 36, oh, I found out. This pack of dog food was originally priced at 198 yuan. Today is my first day of business, and I'm giving you a discount of 188 yuan. Do you think it's okay? Slaying criminals is not considered slaughtering guests, I thought to myself. Oh, boss, I've seen it all. The purchase price for this pack of dog food is only 36 yuan, and it's 188 yuan. I even said it's a discounted price, so I won't buy dog food again in the future. The anchor may not have a black heart after seeing the anchor's actions. I bet that the anchor will win first place. I have already reported to the Consumer Association. The man was also stunned by the price for a moment, as if he didn't expect it to be so expensive. However, after hesitating for a moment, he still replied, sure. Okay, by the way, our store is now offering a promotion of save 1,000 get 500 free and save 2,000 get 1,000 free. Do you want to save some? It's very cost-effective. No need. Okay, then buy 2 get 1 free dog food. Why don't you just take 3 bags? No need. Then add a WeChat account. The man frowned slightly, and a fierce aura flashed in his eyes. I don't need anything, just this bag. Seeing the man becoming impatient, he let out a sigh of relief and helplessness. Well, Alipay or WeChat. While speaking comfortably, he pushed the QR code towards the man. Cash. Chapter 8. Catch the one wearing a hat, he snatches my dog food from my house. You are listening at novelfull.audio. The man in black took out a pink wallet from his pocket and handed 2 to Shu Chang. The black cat trembled as it saw the pink wallet and was about to get up. Meow, that's the owner's wallet. Comfortably and expressionlessly, he pressed down his hand on Yu's back and took the money handed over by the man. Okay, I'll give you the change. The man looked at the black cat with some confusion, feeling a bit familiar and seeming to have some hostility towards him. Upon seeing the situation, Shu Chang quickly turned off the road. Hee, this little cat is too mischievous. It injured its leg on the first day of opening. It's probably because the anesthesia is too strong and it's a bit dishonest. With a light flick, Yu's brain burst, see if you'll be mischievous or not in the future. The man gave a non-committal, and stopped speaking. Shu Chang took the money, turned around to change it, and his eyes rolled around aimlessly. When he saw a few scattered coins in the drawer, Shu Chang's eyes lit up and he turned around with a puzzled expression, saying, well, I'm sorry, the store has just opened and doesn't have much change. As you know, now it's all mobile payments. The man's right hand, which was placed on the counter, suddenly clenched tightly. He now regretted why he had to choose this place to buy dog food. The boss forced Lai not to speak, and everything went wrong. However, after looking at the camera on his head, he finally released his clenched fist. So what do you say? Shu Chang said apologetically, anyway, you also buy dog food. So, I'll give you some more dog food. Anyway, you'll have to buy more in the future. The man had already written his impatience on his face. He had been here for too long, and if it weren't for being too abrupt, he would have wanted the little boss not to change. He said in an anxious tone, sure, hurry up, I'm in a hurry. Shu Chang hurriedly replied, okay. As he spoke, he walked out of the counter, glanced left and right, then walked up to the dog and picked up half of the bag of dog food next to the cage. Thinking about it, he poured another bowl full of food into the dog's bowl, weighed the weight, and handed it to the man. I still have about half a bag of dog food here, and I'll give you the extra. The dog was awakened by the commotion beside him, and when he opened his eyes, he saw the two-legged beast handing its beloved dog food to a man, and couldn't help but cry loudly, woo-woo, I just said that you looked at me with a kind and uneasy expression when I saw the two-legged beast just now. I thought you wanted to snatch the dog food while the dog was asleep. Please return the dog food to me, or else the dog will be with you, woof. Shu Chang gave the dog a glare, howling, I'll give you another bag later. The dog's eyes lit up upon hearing this. Yeah, I knew my dad was the best to me. Long live dad, woof woof woof. Shaking his head comfortably and helplessly, silly dog. The man took the bag and hurriedly walked out. Looking anxiously outside the door, I still couldn't see the police. As the man opened the door and was about to step out, the black cat Yu had already propped up its body with 3 legs and was about to pounce. Feeling helpless, it could only reach out to the iron lock and hook its left foot to open the dog's cage. The dog didn't understand why Shu Chang suddenly opened its cage door, but with the principle of not wanting to understand, it rushed to Shu Chang's side and enthusiastically rubbed against his calf. Just as Shu Chang had already made up his mind to lead the cat and dog to battle the criminals, 2 people suddenly separated from the crowd on the street and walked quickly towards Shu Chang's pet store. Shu Chang was overjoyed to see the situation. Although the 2 of them were not wearing police uniforms, it was probably likely that they were the police officers he had called for. However, for safety reasons, he did not call for the wanted criminal, but instead shouted, catch the one wearing a hat, he's stealing my dog food. While shouting, Shu Chang casually grabbed the iron lock and rushed towards the door. Meow. The black cat let out a mournful and eerie cry, then jumped down from the counter and ran out with ease. Dogs don't know why, but when they heard Shu Chang shout for dog food, woof woof shouted twice and rushed out, shouting while running, Wong Wong, I see who dares to snatch dog master's dog food. The man in black heard Shu Chang's shout and suddenly turned his head. When he saw the black cat following behind Shu Chang with a mournful cry, he finally remembered why he looked so familiar with the black cat. It was not the cat she held when he killed the woman. In an instant, everything was reasonable. Although he didn't know how Shu Chang knew he was a murderer, it wasn't important anymore. He had to run, and as for Shu Chang, he'll come back and deal with him. The two men walking quickly towards the comfortable pet store looked bewildered as they listened. What's the situation? I've heard of robbing banks, gold shops, and even supermarkets. I've heard about it for the first time, whether it's a pet store or dog food. The man in black was about to run forward and join the crowd when he saw two people walking towards him. He estimated their physique and then turned around to look at the thin and comfortable pet shop. He gritted his teeth and turned his head to run towards the comfortable pet shop. Shu Chang's face changed greatly when he saw the man running towards him again. He pulled back the door, which had already been pushed open, and then tightly grabbed the handle with both hands. The dog following behind Shu Chang slammed onto the glass door before breaking. Ah! The dog let out a scream and began to rub the injured dog's face with its paws. The man in black ran to the entrance of the pet store in 3 or 2 steps and grabbed the door handle, trying to pull it open. The inside of the door was comfortable, but he felt a tremendous force coming. Fortunately, the system had enhanced his physical fitness by 10 points, otherwise he would have had to drag someone out with the door. Seeing that he hadn't opened the door, the man in black looked at Shu Chang in surprise through the glass door. Unexpectedly, this seemingly thin young man had a lot of strength. However, without considering too much, the man continued to increase his strength to pull the door. He could feel that the strength of Shu Chang was not as good as his, and I believe he could pull the door open in a few seconds, and then he could hold Shu Chang hostage. As long as Shu Chang is held hostage and stopped shouting, there are 9 ways for him to quickly escape before the police arrive in such a densely populated area. The two people behind the man in black were even more confused. Didn't they say they were stealing dog food? Why do the dog food snatchers want to go in now, but the dog food sellers won't let them in? Are you two playing siege? However, the two of them also realized that something was wrong and took 3 steps in 2 to reach behind the man in black. Hello, we are police. At this moment, the man in black had already opened the door of the pet store by a crack, and Shu Chang's face turned red as he pulled inside. The police officer's sound made both of them turn pale at the same time. The man exerted all his strength to pull again, but Shu Chang used his strength to push out suddenly. Unexpectedly, the man took 2 steps back, stumbled, and released the door handle he was pulling. Shu Chang quickly closed the door again while shouting at the 2 police officers outside the door, "He is the wanted criminal, catch him quickly." The 2 police officers stayed there for a while again. What's going on? Aren't they grabbing dog food? Why did you become a wanted criminal again? Later on, I remembered that the 2 of them were not wearing police uniforms. If they were ordinary people, Shu Chang would probably not only fail to help catch the wanted criminal but also cause panic and chaos in the crowd, allowing the criminals to seize the opportunity to escape. The 2 people who reacted were about to reach out to catch the man in black, but the man in black reacted in advance and suddenly bent down to avoid the 2 hands behind him, grabbing half a bag of dog food that had just been thrown on the ground and scattering it back. Suddenly, the sky was filled with dog food mixed with small pieces of dog food, covering the faces of the 2 police officers. Before the police could make any further moves, the man in black fitted into the 2 police officers. The 2 police officers, who were already blinded by dog food dust, only saw a blurry figure collide with them, and they gritted their teeth and punched the figure. Looking at the 2 punches swung over, the man in black was ruthless and forcefully accepted them. Then, with a muffled snort, he bumped out between the 2. The man who rushed out looked at the crowded crowd in front of him, his eyes full of confidence. Humph, as long as he rushed into the crowd, it would be a dragon entering the sea and a tiger returning to the mountains and forests. The black-clad man's eyes flickered with hatred as he ran and turned his head to look at the comfortable pet shop. Humph, this shop owner has caused him so much embarrassment. When he escapes, he will definitely find a chance to kill him when he returns. Just as he was about to turn around and continue his escape, he suddenly saw an object with a silver light shining in his eyes, rapidly expanding. The man's eyes widened suddenly, and he couldn't dodge in time. He could only shout out in time, sleeping trough. Then with a bang, the object hit the temple accurately, and the man rolled his eyes and fainted cleanly. The silver object also fell to the ground with a clattering sound, which was the shiny new U-shaped lock provided by the program team that was always held in hand. Chapter 9. Society, I lock brother, people speak more harshly. You are listening at Novel Full.audio. At this moment, 2 police officers finally arrived, and a starving tiger pounced on the unconscious criminal, holding him down. He took out a silver bracelet from his body and neatly presented it to the man in black, before finally reaching out to shake off the dog food all over his face. The rabbit rises and falls, but in an instant, the live broadcast room is still discussing the issue of reporting fake police and selling high-priced dog food. The criminals here have been pinned to the ground, causing the emotions of the water enthusiasts to become disconnected. What's going on? Why did we start a fight? Can't you really be the wanted criminal mentioned by the anchor? Playing around, it said that wanted criminals are here. If you really want to be like this, don't sell pets as a live streamer. You can do some divination. That's right, neither of those outside wore police uniforms and claimed to be police officers, probably arranged by the program team. Shouldn't it be? The anchor really hit that person's head with a lock just now. The lock doesn't look fake either. If it were arranged, it wouldn't take human life seriously. Leaving aside everything else, have you noticed? The anchor's accuracy is really good. The distance just now was about 7 or 8 meters, right? The anchor was able to hit the head with precision, and if he goes to play basketball, his 3-point shooting rate is definitely good. When you talk about playing basketball, I have to say that the anchor actually doesn't wear suspenders. Negative review. There are black spots everywhere. Right after throwing out the lock, Shu Chang rushed out and saw that he had already subdued the criminal. He breathed a sigh of relief and quickly turned back to look at Yu and Guzi who were following him. I saw Yu struggling to run towards this side with 3 legs, quickly bending down to pick up Yu, and then going to see the dog. I couldn't help but have a black line on my face. I saw the dog lying outside the pet store, licking the dog food that had just been thrown out. Feeling so angry, he almost cursed loudly. Originally, he opened the dog cage to ask the dog to come out and help him. Even if he didn't bite someone, it would be good to shout twice to scare the criminals. Now it seems fortunate that the criminal was knocked unconscious by him, otherwise the criminal would have fed it some dog food and even the dog would have dared to bite itself in the opposite direction. Ignoring the silly dog, Shu Chang hugged Yu and first examined its injured leg. Fortunately, except for slight bleeding due to exertion, the bones were not misaligned. With 2 gentle strokes, a serene and soothing murmur, "All right, we finally caught him." Lying softly in the comfortable arms, "Meow, thank you." The commotion here immediately alarmed the surrounding crowd, but fortunately, the police around also rushed over when they heard the commotion, which did not cause any disturbance. Seeing that the criminal had been arrested, the police made a comparison and escorted him back to the police station, leaving 2 police officers and Shu Chang to go to the store for a brief inquiry. Shu Chang was about to turn back when he saw the dog food that the criminal had just dropped on the ground. He reached out to pick it up and patted the dust on it. It was good, the money had also been earned, and the dog food had also come back. It was delicious. Walking to the entrance of the store, I saw the dog still burying its head in food and comfortably kicked it on the buttocks. "I'm going back, doing nothing every day and knowing how to eat, silly dog." Returning to the store, Shu Chang first opened the computer interface and greeted the treasures in the live broadcast room. "Baozi, I, Huhan-san, have come back alive again. How about it? Did it stimulate me just now, and was it worth 2 rockets? To get to the point, let me solemnly introduce to you that these 2 are from the Longqing District Public Security Bureau in Zhoujing City." Speaking of which, he paused comfortably and awkwardly looked at the 2 police officers. I'm sorry, but I don't know what the 2 police officers' comrades are called." The anchor's attempt to force failed. No, he's really a police officer. Sleeping slot, so to put it this way, that one just now was really a wanted criminal, so scary. Isn't that saying that the anchor just locked his head and subdued a wanted criminal? The anchor criticized Nyo. So, we just watched a live broadcast of the arrest of wanted criminals. Can we watch it without paying? In the future, I will be my loyal fan of Brother Su. I lock my brother in society, and people speak harshly more. It's better to call him lock man than lock brother. After all, everyone knows that strong men lock men. Smooth grin, lock man, what evil code is this? The tall one among the two police officers suppressed a smile and said, "Hello, I am Zhang Xiaolong from the Criminal Investigation Brigade of Longqing Branch." A slightly shorter person next to him nodded in agreement, "My name is Zhao Bohu." "Oh, Zhang Long and Zhao Hu, do they still have dynasties and Mahan in their bureau? If you don't believe me, my name is Wang Chao. I don't know if they still hire people in the bureau. I wiped them, they are really from the Public Security Bureau. I have seen them before. Upstairs, the treatment in the prison is so good, and you still allow internet access. Well, I just live across from the Public Security Bureau." After introducing themselves, Zhang Xiaolong continued, "Cough, you just called the police, right?" Zhao Bohu took out a small notebook and started recording. This situation immediately made Shu Chang a little nervous, and she awkwardly swallowed her saliva. Yes. By the way, do I have the right to remain silent, but every word I say will serve as evidence in court?" Zhang Xiaolong shook his head and smiled as he listened. "Don't be nervous, we're just conducting routine inquiries about you." Feeling quite embarrassed, Shu Chang scratched his head. Okay, it's mainly my first time dealing with police since I was young, and I'm not proficient yet." Cough cough, it's better not to be proficient in this. "Oh, that's right too. Alright, then, you ask. Zhang Xiaolong adjusted his posture and continued to ask, "How did you discover this criminal?" Feeling at ease, this seems difficult to explain. You can casually chat with the live streamers, but if you talk too much to the police, it may be pulled away and sliced. However, when you think about your performance in the live broadcast room just now, the police can detect it at any time. If you lie, it may be easier to be detected. After all, for every lie you tell, you have to cover it up with 100 lies. After hesitating for a moment, he finally gritted his teeth and said, "As you can see, I am a pet shop owner, and it's normal for a pet shop owner to be able to communicate." Zhang Xiaolong listened with a black line on his face, and Zhao Bohu also stopped the pen he was recording in his hand, looking angrily at Shu Chang. The anchor is really tough. If you dare to talk to the police uncle about psychic communication, you won't be afraid of being caught by an spreading feudal superstition. The anchor understands live streaming, but it seems like they don't really understand the law. Is there a possibility that the anchor can really telepathize? Otherwise everything just now wouldn't make sense. Zhang Xiaolong let out a light cough. "Comrade Shu Chang, although what you said may not necessarily become evidence in court, please cooperate with our work and do not answer irrelevant questions. Otherwise we can consider you intentionally obstructing official duties." Shu Chang quickly nodded. I know, mainly because that's what I said in the live broadcast room just now. I'll restore the scene for you. In fact, the actual situation is that as a pet shop owner, you must know more about pets than the average person. As for me, I usually pay attention to observation, so I can roughly guess their thoughts from their subtle movements and expressions. Everything has to start with this black cat speaking comfortably. He reached out and pointed to Yu, the black cat in his arms. If I guess correctly, this black cat should be the cat of the victim on the wanted list. When it was brought over, I discovered that there was a problem with its injuries. When I mentioned its owner, I saw sadness in its eyes, and at that moment, I saw your wanted notice on my phone. As you know, I was participating in a live broadcast program and there were some photos of the wanted criminal for the show's effect, so I casually showed them to Black Cat. Who knew that the Black Cat had an extremely intense reaction after seeing the photo, so I guessed that the culprit might have killed the owner of the black cat. Later on, the black cat suddenly became restless again, with a fierce light in its eyes. At that time, I thought to myself, it wouldn't be that big. The culprit came here. At that time, I was actually not sure, but just to be on the safe side, I still called the police. I think it would be better for me to be punished for reporting false alarms than not to go to the police because I am not sure. If the perpetrator commits another crime here, I will never sleep soundly for the rest of my life. Chapter 10. Net profit of 50,000 yuan per day. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Speaking of which, Shu Chang paused lightly for a moment, quickly smoothed out her thoughts, and confirmed that there were no major flaws in what she said, so she continued, later, when I called the police, I saw that this man was a bit strange in the crowd. His walking posture was very abnormal. I was just thinking about going out and staring at him when he suddenly came to my store to buy dog food. This black cat was also showing excitement, and I wanted to test him. I kept talking to him while he was buying dog food, but he was clearly a bit anxious. And when he paid, there were 3 things that made me almost certain he was the suspect. Firstly, he bears some resemblance to the person on the wanted list. Secondly, in this era, except for the elderly, almost everyone is using their mobile phones for payment. However, despite his young age, he is using cash for payment. Moreover, a man in his 30s is only holding out a pink wallet. Thirdly, this man has a strong fox odor on his body. You should know that cats have a very keen sense of smell, and this black cat's abnormal behavior twice should be due to smelling the fox odor on his body. However, to be on the safe side, I deliberately tried to tentatively shout at him to grab dog food when he went out. A normal person would definitely turn around and argue with me at this time, but he immediately wanted to run away, so I assumed he was the suspect at the time. After analyzing everything, Zhang Xiaolong and Zhao Bohu looked at Shu Chang with a dull expression on their faces. Zhang Xiaolong asked in confusion, "Have you ever attended a police academy before?" This analysis caught up with the old detective. A comfortable and embarrassed smile, "No, it may be related to my previous job. Before opening a pet store, I was responsible for quality and operation in real estate. Usually, I was mainly responsible for sorting out processes and identifying quality issues, so I am good at sorting things out and identifying problems. I feel like I can make a detective movie out of Brother Suo's reasoning. Lock Man is simply Conan Beanan, Sherlock Holmes bends, too detailed. Just now I said that the anchor's speaking style is so similar to the leader of our engineering management department. It turns out that the anchor is really from the engineering management department. Brother Locke shocked the police. Zhang Xiaolong raised his thumb, "You are this." A comfortable and humble smile, "No, it's just luck. It happened, but I still have 2 things that I don't understand. Why does that man walk so strangely, and why does he buy dog food on his way to escape?" After listening to it, Zhang Xiaolong nodded in satisfaction and thought to himself, "Finally, there's something you don't understand. It's normal if you don't understand this." Both of these are simple reconnaissance techniques used by the military, which ordinary people don't usually come into contact with. This wanted criminal used to be a border reconnaissance soldier. The reason why he walked and looked strange was to avoid being recognized by the camera through his walking posture, so a small stone was placed inside his shoe to change his walking posture. As for dog food, there's nothing strange about it. Dog food has a high nutritional value and low water content, making it easy to preserve. Buying dog food while on the run is also a good choice when it's not easy to buy high-calorie food such as compressed biscuits. After listening, I felt relieved and suddenly realized, "Oh, I see." After listening to the police officer's words, the useless knowledge increased again. "Didn't you notice? That man is a scout, and everyone is the king of soldiers in the army. Brother Suo alone defeated the king of soldiers. It's like a fortress. Really, when I buy dog food for my dog, I often taste it. Not to mention, the taste is still good. Zhang Xiaolong asked for some more details about the process and answered them one by one with ease. Finally, Zhang Xiaolong turned his head and glanced at Zhao Bohu. Zhao Bohu nodded slightly, and Zhang Xiaolong smiled and said, "All right, thank you for your cooperation. That's all for today's question. If there's no problem, just sign on it." After speaking, Zhao Bohu handed the notebook to Shu Chang. After reading it carefully and confirming that there were no issues, Shu Chang signed it and asked with embarrassment, "Well, I see that the wanted notice you posted states that there is a reward of 50,000 yuan for those who provide clues. Do you think I can count it as providing clues?" Zhang Xiaolong was taken aback for a moment, then burst into a hearty smile, "Ha ha ha, yes, there must be. You not only provided clues, but also helped to arrest the suspect. I estimate that not only will there be bonuses, but I will also issue you a certificate of bravery." Soothing eyes brighten up, I'm not saying I care about money, I just can't make everyone think that our police station's words are untrustworthy." Zhang Xiaolong was made to laugh and cry, "Don't worry, we can't do without you. Ha ha ha, I can prove that Brother Locke doesn't care about money unless he really gives it. I'll go, Brother Locke earns 50,000 in a day of anger. No, it's 50,000, 152 yuan. The bag of dog food just now earned 152 yuan in anger. Absorb Locke Brother's wealth. Ha, I don't envy Brother Su. I just gave birth to a pair of dragon and phoenix twins. Wow, then suck on your blessings again, so, I just got promoted. Would you like to suck on my promotion upstairs? Ha ha ha, roll thick. By the way, with a net profit of 50,000 yuan per day, did Locke Man Locke in the first place of this month on the first day? I'll go, that's really what you're saying. Locke Brother Niu Pai. Director Guo Kai has changed the main page to his live broadcast room since Shu Chang reported the incident, and his mood naturally followed the development of the situation by taking a free roller coaster ride. As soon as it subsided, Guo Kai suddenly heard Shu Chang's mention of a 50,000 yuan bonus and couldn't help but be stunned. Sleeping slot, 50,000 yuan, comfortable. You can be a person and earn 50,000 yuan a day. The first place in the first month is basically locked in. You are really a lock man. Have you ever considered the effect of my program? This is not called a spoiler, it's all clear. Watching the furious director, the assistant once again made up his mind to resign and weakly asked, "So, director, will this be included in this month's profit for him?" After thinking for a moment, Guo Kai suddenly said to his assistant in a low voice, "So, you call Shu Chang and suggest to him that he should not include this 50,000 yuan in the profit, and say that I will give him more traffic in the future." The assistant paused for a moment, then turned around to confirm the comfortable live broadcast room. "Director, the number of people online in the comfortable live broadcast room has already reached 150,000. Among us anchors, the highest number of people online is the handmade meme performing upside-down hair washing, and the number of people online is only 160000. Guo Kai angrily raised his hand and took out a quick-acting heart-saving pill to take. He stared at the little assistant and shouted, "I don't know, but after all, Shu Chang is just a little anchor. He had a bad luck today to have so much traffic. Can he still guarantee this traffic tomorrow?" The assistant frowned and crossed his eyes, taking out his phone and handing it to Guo Kai. "Director, Shu Chang has already been on the trending list, and his traffic will also be high tomorrow.